All right, so let's get going, make sure we have quorum. All right, so Craig even called me yesterday to make sure because he knew he wasn't going to be able to join and didn't want me stranded with my meeting rules here. So Michelle, feel free to help me. He said, make sure to roll call to establish quorum. So let's go ahead and do that. Can you guys just kind of go around and state that you're joining the meeting?
Kim Foster, here.
Thank you.
And Tav here.
Argeli. Argeli here.
Gershman here.
Durant's here.
Hay is here.
Okay, excellent. We do have quorum. Then he said, move minutes. Oh, okay, no, and then I have to probably do my Zoom, right? Okay, so in keeping with ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings, maximize social distancing, and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during the emergency declaration, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. While the meeting is being conducted remotely, we'll endeavor to keep meeting operations close to standard procedures as possible. However, use of platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While board members and staff, participants, and applicants will be on video and audio, public participation will join the meeting muted with no video feed from them. Public lines will be muted throughout the meeting to allow the board to conduct business and eliminate background noise. For general meetings, and only for items under which the chair solicits public comments, members of the public participating in Zoom meeting may submit a written question via text chat, provided they include their full name and address for the public record. The chair reserves the right to discard comments submitted that are off topic or do not include name and address. Members of the public viewing the meeting on ECAT may submit questions in writing via email to mblackchair@easton.ma.us. All votes will be by roll call, and when all business indicated on the agenda has been completed, the members will vote to adjourn the meeting, signaling the end of the meeting and the termination of the ECAT. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the review and approval of the minutes that Kelly distributed on April 13th. Any feedback or changes for those minutes? So Kelly, the only thing that I sent you, and I think you already caught, right, was the last name of Kristen Shea, just to kind of make sure that that name was accurate in the...
Yeah, and
okay,
I did
perfect.
change that, yes. Thank you for fixing that.
Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right.
I think I do have to go through voting of approval name by name. So Foster. Come on, unmute.
Yes.
Argeli.
Yes.
Duran.
Durant, yes.
Santave.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
And Gershman.
Gershman, yes.
Thank you. Okay, meeting minutes approved from our April discussion. Okay, civil rights officer update. Liz and I received a notification on April 27th from Chief Gary Sullivan from our Easton Public Police Department, and shared that Deputy Chief Keith Boone was appointed as our new civil rights officer as of April 23rd. He will be the liaison between the police department and our community, and he was not able to join tonight's meeting, but we will go ahead and ensure that we have the opportunity to kind of coordinate at an upcoming meeting an opportunity to introduce Deputy Boone to the rest of the committee. So we'll look forward to that, but we're excited to have him designated for this role. Any questions on that at all? Okay. Listening sessions update. Who wants to take this one?
I can dive in. We're in great shape. It's happening Thursday. I sent a flyer to everyone. We've got about 25 people signed up already. Thank you to everyone who's helped distribute it. Please share on social. We had a dry run on Sunday. It went really, really well. I'm meeting one more time with the educational upfront speaker tomorrow night. If anyone wants to join, I'm going to send that invite to Steph and Irene. I think they'll both try to be there. Yeah, I can't say enough positive about our partnership with the Commission on Disability. There's one of the speakers has been integral. We've been meeting almost weekly. She's really helped shape it. Her name is Maya, so I hope you can all log on Thursday and meet her. She's phenomenal. And then we've got this new partnership with Independence Associates. It's a local organization that I think helps just guide people with disabilities in whatever way they need, whether it's work and coaching or I don't know. I'll let you log in Thursday night to hear more about what they do. But there's two speakers that have an association with that organization. One is an employee, and one is someone who's been through the program and is on the board of directors now. And then there's one other person who's an employee there that's also been joining us and helping shape the session. So anyway, I think it's going to be really great, really impactful. We did not get marketing out until pretty late. So any help you can give distributing it and showing up would be awesome, because the speakers have put a lot of effort and thought into it. So I really want, I really hope there's a good turnout. The only loose ends to tie up are the Zoom link, and then sending the emails the day of, and then letting everything unfold. Hopefully we're in good shape. The slides are done. Anything else, Steph? Am I forgetting?
No, I
Amy,
think
are you good
that's
on
it.
are you good on the survey to send out? I think, if we could send it out same day, that is usually most effective. So if you need help there, let me know.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Sure.
No, I think you explained it well. I'm really looking forward to it. The speakers have been so dedicated, committed, enthusiastic. They're really excited to share their story. So I hope many people can join in and spread the word.
I'm going to miss talking to them every week.
I agree with you. I am too. They're a really nice group.
Yeah.
And did we do a dry run the last time also, or is this the first time we've done that?
We did a dry run
Okay.
the last time.
And do you think that that's beneficial? Is that something that we should definitely? Okay.
Hugely beneficial, because we spent some time talking about just the specific details of what people want to say and spreading out the messages across the full session. Everything's a little bit, more coordinated. People are more familiar with each other. I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Great. And it's a true dry run where you get everybody to join and really walk through it.
Yeah, we were missing the upfront speaker, and a couple people chose to just talk through what they were gonna say rather than practice. But I mean, definitely got the message across. One thing we're gonna try differently, just so everybody knows. Last time there was some feedback about the Q&A part, and Michelle, I know it was a challenge to read the questions as they were scrolling. So we're gonna do a combo of, we're gonna keep it at the end, similar to the last format, but let people come off mute one by one and ask their questions face to face to try to mitigate some of that scrolling and losing questions that happens. And if people are more comfortable, they can also type them in the chat. But Stephanie is going to be moderating that, so hopefully that will take a little bit of the stress off of her. We'll all chip in and pitch in, make sure it will be fine. But we're going to try that.
And I think that the panelists and the speakers would really appreciate hearing the feedback of the questions too. I think that would be really nice for them to hear.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm assuming that I went out to the ally list. I think I might have seen that. Did it already?
Yep.
Okay. And any contact at the schools?
We didn't do the schools.
I'm sure they're on our ally list, but
yeah, if anyone wants to reach out to the schools, great. But we did the Y, the enterprise. We missed the deadline for the town crier, but I think that's okay. I don't think that gets a ton of traction. We did the Chamber of Commerce. I didn't hear back from Uma, but that's okay. We could send it to her again anyway. What else did we do, Stephanie? The Y. So Independence Associates has their own
Yep.
mail list, so they sent out an email through Exact Target or whatever email service they use.
And to their
Um,
legislators.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I know the Chamber of Commerce put it on their Facebook page too to spread the
Oh,
word. and-
the Lions
Yes,
also
the
put
Lions.
it. Yep.
Yep. I think that's everybody.
Okay, excellent. Michelle, do you think that we can also try and figure out how we can get it to the schools as well?
I can send the flyer to Leisha. It's up to her whether it goes out from there, but I can definitely forward it to her. You're
Okay,
you're
that would
looking
be
for it to
great.
go out to staff? Is that what you're looking?
Both, I think, both. staff,
Whatever she thinks is
students.
appropriate, I think. One of the speakers is a recent OA grad. She's pretty young. She's just starting college.
Is there a disabilities pact?
Oh yes, I sent it to I think two of us, we sent it to two different contacts at CPAC. I didn't even tell you that, Stephanie. I sent it to, I don't know if you were on the HRC, Tiffany Sears. She's a good resource for CPAC.
Yeah, I'll get that to
excellent.
Alicia.
Cool. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Okay, anything else on listening session? What about the listening session after this one? Do we want to talk about that one as well?
Let me get through the week. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, we haven't met yet, but I think
Okay.
we have a lot of leads for this one, so it should be quick once we get together. I think we have a lot of ideas about who could speak.
What's the next one?
I'm pretty sure it's sexual identity, right?
I think so, yeah.
Did I sign myself up to that? Do we already have the group for it? I'm blanking. I've been so caught up in this one.
Are you asking who's working on it?
Yeah, I can't remember who we identified last
I
time.
know I am. And I
Pretty
think
sure.
Amy by
Pretty sure I'm
default.
on there.
And I think I might have too. That's why I'm asking. Just include me, I guess, too.
The more the
I think
merrier,
I might have.
Steph.
You there, Stephanie.
Okay.
And I'm happy to help as well.
And I volunteered in the past, so if folks want to reach out. I mean, I think I'm the only openly gay member, so it would make sense to probably include me.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Okay, the next topic is Rise Up for Humanity update. And at our last meeting, we talked about creating a subcommittee to help with the distribution of the vinyl decals that were ordered by Amy, as well as the stickers that were ordered thanks to the ECC grant. I think it was Stephanie, Amy, and Kathy who might have signed up for that subcommittee. I don't know if you've had any opportunity to meet or have any discussions around that just yet.
No, but I want to give Kathy credit for trying to initiate something. I think Steph and I were just wrapped up in the listening session, so
Yeah, I've been at my max.
thank you,
but
Kathy.
I
Yeah.
remember that now. Yes, it's coming back to me. Once this week is through, I feel like I'm going to be able to have a lot more time to work on next stuff. So it's been a busy one.
Okay, no problem. Yep, we'll circle back on that for a June update. Thank you. Next topic is the Massachusetts HRC. So I don't know if the team had an opportunity to take a look at an email that I forwarded. So what the Massachusetts HRC, kind of that coalition, they aim every year to kind of bring together all of the members and representatives of local HRC to kind of focus on specific human rights topics that at the local level that they want to go ahead and bring forward and help to empower the community. So the topic that they've chosen to move forward with for this year is they're calling it Bending the Arc Toward Housing Equity, and that is going to be a session that they're hosting on May 7th from 8:45 to noon. And there is Eventbrite information included in that link that I shared. So they look like they have a pretty good panel of folks who are going to be attending that conversation. They have Boston Fair Housing representation. They have the executive director of Transit Matters. They also have representation from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, as well as tenant associations from various towns. So it seems like it will be a very kind of organized event. I don't know if folks have interest in joining. Kathy, I would think that we could definitely go ahead and share that with our allies in terms of if folks have interest, in the topic at all. I think that would be great.
I'll send it out.
Okay, thank you. And if anybody did not receive the information, I'm thinking, Kristen, I might have missed you on that distribution. So you might be a little confused by what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I was looking for it. Yeah, if you could send that, that would be great. Thanks.
I think I'm using an old list. Sorry about that. Yes, I would definitely get that out.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay, awesome. Any questions on that from anyone? Okay, thank you. Next topic is the April book reading partnership with the library.
I thought that already happened.
It did happen. It was last week. I know Liz attended. Did anybody else attend?
Yes. Where the woman spoke about her book.
Yeah.
Yes, that was what we're talking about. Yep, I did attend that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I understand it was very, very interesting. And they had about 25 people is what
Yeah, I
I've
was
heard.
going to say about 25 or 30 people, I feel like, joined it. Her book sounds interesting. I have it on my Amazon list to purchase next, but I thought her story was interesting. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think Liz was there too.
Do we feel like they had a good turnout?
No, I think people are getting tired of Zoom, and there have been so many events that it's just hard to motivate people to do a lot. And a lot of things are going on in succession. But Marion Wingfield's my neighbor, and she was very happy with it. So
I think the people who did join had really good feedback. A lot of them had already read the book and had direct questions to ask the author and stuff. So I thought it was good feedback for that reason.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. The next topic is the RMK Book Club partnership. Anyone have any update there?
We did do a meeting last night, and that was a session on two podcasts by Emmanuel Achu, if I'm saying his name correctly.
I think I did the flyer.
Yeah,
I can't
I think
remember
you did
anymore.
do the flyer. Yes, you've done a lot of flyers lately, Amy, but I believe that was another one you did. So we discussed two of his podcasts, and in July they'll be returning back to like actual books, like the book series with Why Do All the Black Kids Sit Together at the Cafeteria, which is a very good book. It's a little heavy, but it's a really good book. A lot of factual information, statistics, that kind of stuff. So that'll be the next actual book. But we did do last night with the two podcasts. One on the podcast was on a white family who adopted Black children, and the other one was the discussion with the police officers. So I thought it was good feedback. It was a smaller group too. I think there was around 20, 25 people who signed up, but really good conversation that came from it. So, and the next one will be in July.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other action items that we wanted to cover?
I wanted to be able to bring up too the proclamation that the group that I had been working with. And I think I sent that out, I don't know, today's Tuesday, yesterday, Sunday or yesterday, for any other feedback or comments around it. But I've been part of a group in town that has been working on this for the past few months, I'd say, just about weekly, writing a proclamation about anti-racism and how the community can kind of come together jointly. So I don't know if you wanted me to share it or just if there's any questions or if we wanted to get some feedback on it.
There been discussion about how you're going to circulate it or distribute it?
That will be the next part of our planning. We wanted to write it kind of first, and then there'll be a group of people that get together on distribution. So we'd like ideally for it to go to community members, businesses, and partner with a lot of different people, but we haven't gotten through all the steps of distribution yet.
So I know you did get to distribute that to the group, but I'm not sure if everybody had the opportunity to see it. I know I did and listed, but it may be good to bring up just so that anybody who didn't get a chance to review has the opportunity to review, and if folks have any questions for Stephanie. I also know that we do have public participation. I know some of the folks Stephanie had mentioned worked with her on the proclamation are on the meeting. So I think if folks have questions as well, it may be good to do that. So Stephanie, is that easy for you to bring up?
It will take me a moment, but I will. I just got to pull it up in my email, and I'm not quite sure how to share it on here, but I will try my best.
And I know you're looking, but it might be good, Stephanie, too, because I know we talked about how the committee had kind of come together and reviewed other proclamations across other towns and communities. Do you maybe want to talk through that process a little bit for the group?
Sure, I'm just pulling it up in the background too. But yeah, so we had reviewed, and I don't know if it makes sense to have anybody else chime in too about it, but that was on it. But we had reviewed different towns' proclamations that they have written. Some were lengthier, some had different kind of suggestions on it, but we kind of pulled from it the several that we reviewed. Bridgewater, Arlington, those are the ones that have come into mind for me, even some out of state, because we really wanted to get a feel of, what other people had done prior, what language they used, how they worded it, what was the format. And we pulled from those and from our own kind of thoughts, but pulled from those to be able to gather some of the points that we wanted to make and that we felt was kind of relevant to Easton, and then worked on it from there. But a lot of time went into, I feel like, reviewing all of those kind of talking points and figuring out a format on how to formulate it.
Steph, the models that you looked at, who signed those? Like who are they intended to be proclamations by or for?
I'd have to go back and review, or I wonder is there a way to have other people answer some of those questions too? I feel like they might have better answers for that. I don't remember. I feel like I saw them. I don't know that we got all the list of signatures below that. It might have just been the actual proclamations themselves.
So one of the questions I have about the proclamation in the version that we saw is that it seems like it's hitting at two different audiences. So part of the language seems directive towards the town to take certain actions, and part of the language seems directive towards allyship. Like, I support what is in here. I plan to do what is in my power or realm. And I think the two pieces aren't working as smoothly together as they could. So I think that part needs to be ironed out a little bit.
Okay. Is it shared on people's screens? Okay.
Yeah.
So say that piece again, Liz. I want to bring that back, or I want to be able to make sure I document it.
Sure. So the proclamation starts out by saying the town of Easton, right? And the focus is very much on the town making a statement. So for a proclamation that is a statement by a town, it is acted upon by the town representatives, right? So there's been some discussion about the HRC as the appropriate representative of the town for a topic like this, which fits within our charge. But then there are aspects in here which talk about other aspects of the town of Easton, like holding events or the schools doing things, right? So that would be an example where we certainly can't speak or sign for the schools about what is going to happen in the schools. And then there's other parts at the end where it's basically saying language like, you know, I stand with the town of Easton in support of the proclamation. So that's like the step 2. Like town of Easton has to, with that language, town of Easton has to pass a proclamation, and then step 2 is like, yeah, thumbs up to that proclamation. I stand by it. Putting it into one document, it's not quite working the way it's drafted right now.
Suggestions on it, do you think, of how to?
Yeah, so I emailed you some drafting suggestions, which are in there, and some are like super mechanical with just semicolons and commas and things like that. I think it's more for the committee, the proclamation writing committee, to figure this out.
Sure, I can share that.
Sure, I have a recommendation at this point, but I can just point to it not quite fitting either.
Oh, I don't know. I think it muted. I wasn't sure if you were done.
Can you
Speaking.
scroll down?
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess what I think Liz is saying is this a proclamation from the people of Easton, or is it a proclamation from the town of Easton to the people of Easton? And try to sort of figure out what the right wording would work.
Yeah, it's my understanding. It's from the the people of Easton, the community of Easton, bringing this forward to different entities. Whether it's obviously the Human Rights Committee and different partnerships. If we went to state legislators, it's from the community going out, hoping for support and endorsement from the town, right, which is being represented through the Human Rights Committee, given it kind of falls under the umbrella of human rights issues, but also looking for businesses, community members, clergy, just different members of the community to sign off on it. So are we thinking next steps, I bring this back to the writing committee, Liz, with some of those kind of edits, or if other people have kind of suggestions or edits as well?
I'm curious what the rest of the committee thinks.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
I'm sorry, I meant Human Rights Committee
Yep.
here.
I was like, I don't know, should I stop sharing? That's what I was trying to figure out. Or if people still wanted a chance to review it.
So this is Kristen. I'm wondering, seeing as like a lot of our issues in the last couple of years have been anti-Semitic, that and this refers to praying. But I wonder if, since that we struggle with that as a community, or that has been like a big issue in our schools, that maybe having something a little bit more direct about that might be good. But that's just I wonder, not I feel like very strongly. It's just that, just thinking of the incidents most recently, I don't feel like this really addresses that.
Gotcha. Yeah, this started and kind of stemmed from um, some incidents, mostly last summer, that were around race, and some community members that kind of were targeted and felt as though that they felt it was important to get their voice out and get some community partnership around it. So I totally hear what you're saying, and appreciate that feedback. I think it was focused strictly kind of on race for those reasons.
I'm wondering, and maybe not to put folks on the spot if they're looking at it for the first time, but just to give folks an opportunity to kind of take a look at it and provide Stephanie some feedback around it so she can bring that back to that proclamation committee. Many who seem to be on our list of public participation today. I think it would be good to kind of take a look at that and provide any additional recommendations or any points of view, I think would be good. And then Stephanie, sounds like maybe just from our previous discussion, focus around then would be to kind of identify some of those key stakeholders that would help to kind of sign this and really be able to get that buy-in throughout the town and then move towards your distribution plan. Does that sound about right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Anything else from the committee on or questions for Stephanie around this?
No, I just want to make sure everyone saw the message from Liz in the chat about Arlington. Their proclamation was signed by the select board. So if we need, I don't know, that just could be useful guidance. Stephanie, do you think that there's anyone listening in right now that wants to contribute here? Or I don't even know if I can do that, Liz. Sorry.
I would think so, but I don't know how to do that either. I would think Dawn would be able to answer some of that or speak to that too. I don't know. I can't see the chat or anything when I'm sharing for some reason, but
they could probably just raise their hand and then we could let them in. Maybe.
And let me know when I'm free to stop sharing. I can do that as well.
I saw Dawn raise her hand, so I'm clicking on allow to talk. Is that how this works? Okay.
Can you hear me?
So, because I think it's public participation, I think I need Dawn to state your name and your address. Does that sound right? Liz, I need some help here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. My name is Dawn Perry. I live at 39 Aspen Hollow Drive in Easton, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Dawn.
And so I did hear a number of the questions that were posed. First, I think Liz answered one of the questions, which is relative to who else signed the proclamation. It did vary by town or state that we reviewed, but generally it wasn't from a town perspective. I think the other issue that you raised was the structure of our document. Given our lack of clarity as to what the town was going to do, was willing to do, we really were drafting it to make sure that it was all encompassing. But it is our aim that we get support from the HRC, town officials, and also members of the community, which I think Stephanie went into, so that it's supported by the entire community. That's entirely the objective, but we certainly heard some of the comments that were raised, and we can go back and take a look at it from a drafting perspective to make sure that it is as succinct as possible. And then the last thing I think I heard was whether or not it can be expanded to address more broader issues or additional issues that perhaps in some respect are consistent with some of the issues we're raising here. And I think Kristen raised anti-Semitism. And so we did not draft this to be to exclude anyone, but we wanted to be very
prescriptive in what we were describing here, because the issues that we're contending here are with regards to the racial issues that exist and are obviously in our town, but certainly just making sure that the town is articulating an opinion, which many other towns have done in the Commonwealth around racism. And so we were very prescriptive in what we were doing here. So that was really the intent. I think that's all that I heard raised, but if I missed anything, let me know and I can address that as well.
I just want to second what Liz said in reading this, that it goes beyond what the Human Rights Committee could approve, because we don't have authority over some of those other parts. So there would have to be, I would think, as it's written now, approved by the selectmen. And then we could approve it as well. But it's sort of beyond our purview in some of the sections, you know, like what the school's going to do.
Catherine, you went on mute.
Sorry. And things, yeah, what overseeing the events of the schools and other parts of this would have to go, is beyond us.
No, and that's understood. We'll take it back and collectively take it under consideration and figure out the perhaps a different approach to make sure that we're casting the right view for the intended audience. So we'll take that back.
And I know Craig couldn't join us today, but Craig, as part of the Board of Selectmen, I did ask him to take a look at that as well as determine whether or not he had any questions, Stephanie. So I'm sure he will take a look and send over any thoughts he has to you directly.
Yep, good. I sent it to him as part of the group, but that's good. Thank you.
I did want to say that I think we really appreciate all the work that's been put into this. We recognize that people have been working very, very hard and are very supportive of the intent. It's just sort of getting it right to put it out there.
Yep, we appreciate that.
And we want to get it right, so I appreciate feedback.
Okay.
So I can
anything
stop
else on this
sharing?
topic? I can stop sharing.
Okay.
Dawn, I'm going to move you back to the group if, unless you had anything else you wanted to share on this.
Nope, I appreciate the opportunity and I gladly go back outside of the group.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks.
I'm glad I did that right. Proud of myself right now. Okay. The next topic is public participation. So how does this work? Do they raise their hand?
I think I'd like to move over Tim as a panelist. He sent a message in the chat and we had talked at a prior meeting about him coming to the meeting to introduce himself.
Okay. Tim, are you there? Can you?
I am here.
Thank you.
This is a little different Zoom experience for me. It being heard but not seen, but interesting. So I'm a member of Good Shepherd Presbyterian Church, which is located in South Easton on Foundry Street. We're a relatively small church. We've been around about 30 years. About half of our members originally came from Cameroon, and the other half are just people from who were born in the United States. We're very geographically diverse. Some of our members live in Easton, some in Sharon, some in Stoughton. I live in Stoughton, Brockton, Taunton, and we are kind of very interested in partnering and participating with groups that are interested in anti-racism issues, systemic poverty issues, civil rights issues. So I think one of my intentions was to come and kind of find out a little bit what your group was all about and what it did, and if it was possible to support or participate in some of your efforts. We like the logo very much, by the way, or the sticker.
Thank you, Tim. It's nice to meet you, and thanks for coming to the meeting. We are always looking for groups in the community to partner with, so we're really glad you reached out and came to introduce yourself. It sounds like actually stuff that Tim might be a good person to put in touch with the proclamation committee. There could be some overlap there. Yeah.
Yep.
Tim, can anyone on the committee answer any questions you have about the role of our committee or scope?
Not yet. I guess I'm still, this is, has been very kind of educational to see some of the things that you are involved in, and so far I probably don't know enough to have questions.
Not a problem. I'm going to put a link in the chat to our website, and you can take a look there, which will give you some more background on what we have done in the last several years since we've been active.
Okay, thank you.
One of the thoughts I had in listening to Tim is if we're going to continue doing listening sessions next year, maybe we want to do one on the immigrant community. And we could have Tim help with that.
We would love that very much. Several of our members have been granted asylum in the United States within the past year. Some have been in detention. It's an issue that's very close to our own experience and interests.
We'll get Masa for that one. All right. Well, thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you as well.
Kathy, maybe Tim knows some people who want to be on our ally list.
Yeah,
I added him, but I can ask him personally. Thank you. I'm still plugging. We're up to 130. We need 30 more by September. Come on, group.
All right.
Do you have the art club on? Yeah, sorry. Do you have the art club students on there, Kathy? There might be some high school students who might want to join.
Anybody have their contact?
Yeah, at the very least, at least all the students who went ahead and submitted their art for the contest, I think that would be good. I can share those with you.
And also, Amy, the club that Esme is part of might be good to add to the ally list as well. And their advisor, I'm not sure if their advisor's on our list.
Yep, I'll reach out to her.
Amy, I'm thinking our group speakers too from Thursday too might be interested, because I know they've wanted to partner more with us, so we can recruit them too.
Yep, just send me their emails and I'll put them on.
Awesome. Okay, well, I just want to make sure I see some additional folks kind of in the attendee list over there. Anyone else help from a public participation standpoint have any questions? I'll be looking.
I see one more person has their hand raised. Kristen, with an A.
I can't see that. Okay. Hi, Kristen. Did you have a question for the group? Okay, maybe not. Okay. Anything else that we wanted to discuss today that we didn't get a chance to review?
So I have one thought. It's just an idea that I've been sort of passing around in my head for a little bit. I'm going to add it to the agenda for the next call so that we're prepared and can have like a structured discussion on it. But I've been thinking through whether or not we might want to start some sort of program that just happens in the background, not really our offerings that happen regularly and we advertise, but more just something that happens in the background. And it's some sort of it's like a mentorship program almost. So somehow connecting people in our community who are looking for some sort of support or connection in the community on one level or other. It doesn't have to be, a specific topic, and hooking them up with someone else who can play some sort of a mentorship role for them, something around human rights, around supporting them in some way. And then at the same time, also as a committee, hopefully leveraging our ally group to help develop almost the next generation of this committee members. And how can we think through and structure some sort of a mentorship program that sort of fills both of those spaces, right? Connects people who are looking for mentorship and looking for support and connection in our community with people who are willing to offer it and have some sort of a basis in human rights sort of background and experience that might be able to help out. So I don't have a full picture in my mind yet. It's just something I've been batting around, but I would love it if you guys think about it over the next month, and then on our next meeting, we could talk about what they could possibly look like. What does your gut tell you? Is that something that you guys think we could pull off? Do we need it? Would it be valuable?
Can you tell me more what you're envisioning with the mentorship? Like, my brain's going two directions. It's going one direction, like, I've always wanted to know more about topic X. Can you tell me about topic X? And whether that's like your sort of a walk in my shoes, like race, religion, ability experience, or if it's like, I want to get more involved doing whatever. How would I do that?
Yeah, so I think it wouldn't be just a one-off. I have some questions and I want to talk to somebody about it. In my mind, it was more something of like, you meet, every couple that we pair people up, and that the pairings, we encourage the pairings to meet, whether that's in person or over Zoom, that's for them to decide. Every, let's say, couple of months in an ongoing sort of pairing, not just a one-off, let me answer some questions, but more around, oh, I'm new to Easton. This is my background and experience. I'm looking to meet somebody who can just help support me throughout my journey here from a human rights perspective, right? So not just, I'm looking for somebody in my field of business, or, I'm looking for somebody to network with, but more, I'm interested in someone who has, a physical disability also, and want to just be able to find a connection within my community as a support mechanism. Then in that case, that one is very specific. They might not necessarily be that specific, but it would involve, reaching out to the community and saying, if anybody's interested in having a mentor, let us know. And then at the same time, it would be reaching out to our allies and saying, if you're interested in being a mentor, let us know. And then we would match them up. And it wouldn't be any lift on our part going forward after the pairings are made. It would just be probably a reminder to the pairings saying, hey, just reminder, meet up again, check in.
And it would be given the ally list an opportunity to be involved in some level of volunteerism around human rights issues.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And maybe feel a little more connected to our committee and what we're doing.
Exactly.
Interesting idea.
So it's just something to think about. I mean, obviously we're not going to have all the answers now, and maybe it's not the right thing to do, but think about it and we can talk about it at the next meeting.
Well, and I also think about mentorship. I think about students, like a student adults, and I don't know what kind of outreach we have with the high school, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of energy there that that we could harness with mentorships, whether it's with this committee or with other of our allies, and helping people find, or especially the high schoolers, find their way and their voice. I think there's potential there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, my thinking was that it would, not only help support individuals in our community, but also help educate people a little bit more on these things and help build essentially that ally list, right? I mean, it helps build the community of people who are thinking and talking about human rights.
Yeah, I definitely will think about it more, Allie. My initial thought is we would get more exposure or kind of cover more ground by maybe putting more effort towards resources, like how to help identifying more resources that we could share on different topics, right? So I know I'll throw out the gender identity effort that Amy put together, and there were groups and there were hotlines and there was a lot of information that she was able to put together and save us on our repository, right, our website, right, if people can access that information going forward. And I wonder, if situations like that where there's a little bit more skill set involved, right, where, hotlines that are manned by people who have been trained with, mediation or different types of topics, to me, is a little more controlled than like individual conversations that become somewhat uncontrolled. I don't know. And maybe I'm just like a little nervous about like that pairing aspect, depending upon how our involvement would be with the match or providing the resource. I guess maybe from a HRC perspective, I see us providing those resources, right? Those education opportunities, the access potentially to events, or creating the space, the safe space. I'm not sure about kind of that one-on-one type of interaction, but again, I think it's great to be thinking about it and trying to think about ways to engage more community members. I'm just from initial thought, that's my just kind of some initial feelings that I have around that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything that they wanted to bring forward today? Okay. What do I need to do now? Do we motion to adjourn?
And then a roll call.
And another roll call? Okay.
Motion to adjourn, someone seconds it, and then you have to do a roll call.
Okay.
To
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Okay. Roll call.
Foster, yes.
Durant,
Yes.
yes.
And Tav, yes.
Gershman, yes.
I heard Gershman in Devonshire. Or Julie?
Hey, yes.
Or Julie, yes.
Bornstein, yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. We're adjourning our meeting at 7:25 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.